Imagine waking up every morning in a bedroom that feels like your own secret garden library in the forest. I know that's what a lot of you want, because it seems like many of you felt very seen by my last video on green academia and felt like you finally got a name for a style that you've been naturally doing for years. So let's keep talking about it. I definitely have plenty to say. Hell, I've been seriously contemplating painting my walls green, which is crazy. I was inspired by my own video, and now I'm having dark thoughts. Dark green thoughts. So today I'm going to dive deeper into green academia, and instead of focusing on living room decor like last time, I'm gonna focus on bedroom design for this one, which was specifically requested by Rewilding Rose in a comment, who might have the prettiest handle on YouTube, by the way. So if you loved my first green academia video and you want even more inspiration, then let's take this party to the bedroom. So when decorating a bedroom in any style, the goal is, of course, comfort, safety, to create a refuge in which our nightly healing rituals can commence. And a nature-driven aesthetic like green academia is probably the most potent healing potion you could take, because nature is healing. I want you to be able to step through the threshold between your living room and bedroom, or if you're like me and you live in a studio, just walk a few steps to the left, no threshold involved, and immediately feel that HP meter of yours replenish to full health stats. A green academia bedroom can be your own little secret garden you cultivate and tend to over time, then reap the benefits of your styling choices when they bloom. And while green academia might not be a full immersion into nature, you'd have to go camping to do that, which I'm not willing to do. It can be a kind of artistic imitation of nature, combined with the academia side, of course. Books and nature are both powerful healing potions for the bibliophiles and the biophiles and everyone in between. So how can you create this style and all its healing properties in your bedroom decor? Before I get into my specific decor recommendations, I'll be honest about something. Decorating can be overwhelming and expensive. I'm currently in that phase with my studio decor. I'm not sure what to do next, and when I think about the prices of the things I want adding up, I kind of just freeze and I stop decorating. Which is when today's sponsor, Monarch, swoops in and makes the whole interior styling process feel doable again. Monarch is a private, ad-free personal finance platform that brings all your accounts into one clean, easy-to-use dashboard on both the web and mobile. Monarch uses your real financial data to give you AI-powered insights that give you super helpful explanations of your finances. What I like about Monarch is it's not intimidating. I get very intimidated by numbers, and I've never met a spreadsheet that I didn't hate. But Monarch is easy to navigate and pretty to look at, so I can spend my brain power on more fun stuff, like decorating. So to start your free trial with Monarch and get 50% off your first year, use my link below or scan this QR code. And thank you to Monarch for sponsoring this video. So like I said in my last green academia video, this style is all about botanical imagery, classic academia tropes, antique accents, and of course, a green color palette. And the first thing I need to highlight is this candle. I got it a few days ago, and it's been a long time since I've fallen so hard for a candle. This little guy has changed my life. It's crushed mint by Linnea, and it smells like an actual garden. A lot of mint scents end up smelling like toothpaste, but this is more like fresh herbs and flowers. And notice how I haven't even lit it? I haven't had to. This thing is like a reed diffuser. It's been filling my space with its fragrance just by sitting there. So I just wanted to start this off with a raving candle recommendation because it's been 84 years since a candle has enchanted me this hard. It smells like green academia. Now, when it comes to creating a green academia bedroom, the same principles from my last video apply, but I feel like there needs to be even more of an emphasis on serenity. This is where you fall asleep every night, so it needs to be even more relaxing and cozy on top of green and scholarly. Verdant bedding that wraps you in leaves and branches so you can luxuriate like the forest fairy queen you were always born to be. We want to channel this kind of lavish forest splendor for this look. And girl, you deserve to be the Queen Titania of your bedroom. Same vibe with throw pillows. This is an opportunity to really pile them on to your bed. Think lush, think bountiful, think overgrown. With this style, you want to think of ways to simulate a garden or a conservatory. And you can think of your decorative pillows as little seeds you plant on your bed that sprout into stylish, textured additions to your garden of a bedroom. And then your headboard is like the trellis that holds it all together. This is where you can get romantic with your styling. And remember, romance is a huge aspect of any academia style. It's not really about realism or accuracy, it's about seeing academia through a romanticized lens. And there's just something inherently romantic about a grand headboard. And speaking of the academia side of this aesthetic, art that evokes classical imagery is a nice way to make sure the academia aspect comes across. Because something like a classical statue, for example, is one of the academia aesthetic tropes that'll make it clear that this isn't just a green foresty bedroom. There's a refined, scholarly vibe we want to achieve as well. And there's nothing more scholarly than a Greek myth, like Orpheus and Eurydice, pictured here moments before tragedy strikes. Aside from the aesthetic of this, there's something about this particular story that feels aligned with green academia. Long story short, Eurydice dies from a snake bite and Orpheus travels to the underworld and begs Hades to bring her back to life. And Hades is like, okay, cool, I'll do that, but since I'm a Greek god, I have to be an asshole about this, so while you two are leaving the underworld, you can't look back at her or else she'll be dead for real. And of course, as they're leaving the underworld, Orpheus does look back at Eurydice because he has anxiety, and Eurydice is gone. So in this piece of wall art, I take it this is the moment right before this idiot looks back and ruins everything. So naturally, I think it's a worthwhile piece of art to hang in your bedroom. But to narrow it down to relate it to green academia, it's a tale of the power of nature at odds with the human mind. A snake bites Eurydice, and the natural consequences can't be avoided. Nature wins, and anxiety wins, as it often does. Moving along, this piece in particular is perfect because it captures both sides of this style, the academia aesthetic statue and the nature component. It's kind of my worst nightmare because big bug, but it's undeniably an obvious choice for green academia because even the body of the platonic ideal of a man ultimately belongs to the soil, and the bugs will outlast us all. Before I get too dark, here are some lighting options I found. I briefly touched on this in my last video, but I think it's so fascinating that it's so common for lighting to imitate plants and flowers. So much of design throughout the ages has consciously or unconsciously imitated nature, and these specific lamps clearly consciously do it, which makes them especially perfect for green academia. Because the more greenery and floral visual motifs you can plant throughout the room, the better. Same goes for art. Aside from art that embodies classical tropes and stories, incorporating simple depictions of flowers is totally valid. They may not have the depth of story behind them, although the idea of a Van Gogh lacking depth is obviously absurd. There's something to be said for simple floral art. Personally, I'm a firm believer that pretty pictures of flowers are not only worthwhile, they're inherently deep, because nature is deep. It's complex and intricate and extraordinary. So every piece of cute flower art comes with automatic depth and meaning. Same applies to floral wallpaper. Having your bedroom blossom a beautiful floral statement wall would be perfect for this look. But you know, I might be biased. Then you have your smaller decorative details. Green coasters for your nighttime glass of water on your nightstand. Then of course, a pretty addition of the secret garden is perfect because Mary Lennox learned firsthand what nature can do for the soul. Her secret garden helped her cope with losing her parents, helped her uncle accept the death of his wife and stop Munchausen by proxying his son, and basically lifted the veil of grief that was covering every single character. Full health bar replenishment all around. The moral of that story is that nature heals. The Secret Garden as a story just really resonates with the spirit of green academia. And this specific book, with its aesthetically pleasing cover, would be a lovely addition to the styling on top of a dresser or nightstand. Apothecary bottles too. You can never have too many in a green academia space. And like I said in my last video, this style should look like it's double majoring in botany and environmental science. And little apothecary bottles for herbs and stems and potions definitely give that vibe, or at least the fantasy version of that vibe. And yes, I think a decanter counts as part of this bottle fantasy. Who says you can't keep a beautiful decanter of whiskey on your dresser? That sounds like the height of luxury to me. And whiskey is made from grains. And grain is plant. And plant is green academia, okay? And speaking of plants, or something like them, you could also get some green faux flowers like these. But really any faux flowers will do. And I'll admit, I kind of wrestle with this one. You know I'm a big lover of faux plants and flowers. I use them exclusively in my styling because I prefer my plants and flowers to be immortal. But at the same time, do faux plants and flowers completely undermine everything that green academia stands for? Green academia is a style that celebrates real nature and the real study of it. Is the imitation of nature, faux plants and flowers, any less valid than nature itself? We have ourselves a classic Plato versus Aristotle conundrum. Don't you hate it when those happen? To put it simply, Plato believed that imitation or art is deceptive, a lie that misleads people away from the truth of the subject matter, basically. I'm very much oversimplifying this, by the way, because trust me, I am not trying to write a thesis paper this time, I swear. On the other side, Aristotle believed that imitation or art is truth. Literature, plays, visual art, they all speak to the truths of the human experience, and ultimately they provide a feeling of catharsis, which is itself valuable. What I'm grappling with is, are faux plants and flowers incompatible with a style like green academia, which revolves around real nature? Is imitation enough? I guess it's just up to the individual. If I were styling a green academia room, I would totally use faux plants and flowers. I just would. I would be Aristotle in this scenario. I'd see imitation as valid, as its own form of truth. The flowers are fake, but the reality of them is real. They exist and they are pretty. Love how I've descended into over-intellectualizing fake flowers. Do I experience catharsis when I look at the fake flowers in my apartment? Actually, kind of. Or maybe I just experience pleasure. Maybe that's where I land in this completely unnecessary philosophical debate. Hedonism. Maybe I really am more of an Aristippus in this scenario, who believed that the goal in life is to seek pleasure. And isn't that what we're ultimately doing when we're decorating? Seeking pleasure? Is the art of decorating just a byproduct of a more primal, simple desire to feel the aesthetic pleasure of our surroundings? I don't know, but I like fake flowers. They're pretty. And I've allowed too many long-dead male philosophers into my video, so let's move on to the bedroom design I created. So as you can see, we have another unabashedly green room. Just like the green academia living room design I did in the last video, this bedroom is a very color-drenched take on this style. Aggressively green is what we want. Only this time I went with a bit more of a maximalist approach with the wallpaper statement. You want to lean into this overgrown, lush, green abundance for this look. And I've mentioned Titania from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream for a reason. I really feel like channeling her vibe, especially as it's portrayed by Michelle Pfeiffer in the 90s adaptation, is a great way to approach green academia bedroom decor. We want this sense of queenly luxury for a bedroom, combined with the foresty nature of this aesthetic. And you'll see I also found the perfect dresser for green academia. Pairing it with this big moth piece honestly has me feeling a little triggered, but I guess it's like exposure therapy for my fear of bugs. I'm facing my fears for the sake of style. I'm so brave. Overall, it's a bedroom that looks like a secret garden library in the forest and captures the romance, the nature, and the classical academia visuals while doing what a bedroom should do best, creating that healing fairy effect so you can peacefully fall asleep and dream your very best Midsummer Night's Dream. Let me know in the comments, what style do you think I should cover next? Also let me know, what do you think about repeating styles like this? I guess I have a fear of being too repetitive, but honestly, I would love to dive deeper into styles I've covered before, like hobbitcore, fairycore, goblincore. You know, there are so many cores and so little time. I'd love to just keep talking about them, but let me know if I don't know. Let me know what you think about repeating things, and let me know if it's just in my head. Am I just making it up that it would start to get annoying? I don't know. And of course, if you haven't already, I recommend you watch my first green academia video next. It's definitely the big sister video to this one. So if you liked this one, you will, of course, like that one as well. Anyway, do you think I should paint my walls green?